What's going on, everybody? Stole that. It's not my intro, but I don't have an intro anyways. But welcome to a new video. It is New Year's Day right now. I might not upload this immediately, but I'm a little sick right now. Just so you know. Just gonna put that out there for everybody that needs to know that. I'm a little sick. I hope everybody had a good new year and that your 2024 is good. And I hope that your 2023 was at least fine. Anyways, Merry Christmas also. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about books and all the books that I read this year. So I set a goal for myself last year to read 20 books, and I read 22 books. 22. If I would have read one more, I would have gotten to 23 for 2023. So I'm going to be ranking the books. S is going to be basically like, you should probably read this book. It's very good, you know. I enjoyed it. Every page of it I liked. G, this is a tier that I invented. I might be the first one to do this, to put G tier in its own thing. And they're going to be making video essays on me in the future, saying that I'm an innovator in the tier list format. G is basically like, if you see the book in a library or something, I would not blame you if you set ablaze to it. If you set it ablaze, I would not protest. Speaking of ablaze, I think I might just light a candle for this video because it's a special occasion. So I got this new lighter for Christmas. My mom got it for me. Basically what it is like, it's like you hear that? It's like electric. Somebody lighting up this candle that I also got from Bath and Body Works. My girlfriend got it for me. It's called Leaves. Let's take a listen. It's lit, in the words of Travis Scott. But yeah. So next year I'm hoping to probably read around 20. I'll set my goal for 25 just to, add a little bit on to it. But I won't be mad if I don't hit that goal because it is 5 more books and that's a lot of pages. So we're just going to kick it off. These are arranged in order of when I read them. So these first few books are probably going to be a little bit harder for me to rank because I won't be remembering them as well. But we're going to start off with Eileen. This is it's about this incel, femcel girl, basically. And it's very good. She gets up to some wacky hijinks, and she's like a borderline pedophile. I'm going to put that up in B. What the hell is going on with this cropping? No crop is what I want. Square. Let's change it. There we go. Okay. That's how I wanted it to be. Okay. Anyways, Blasted by Sarah Kane. This isn't technically a book. It's a play. It's only about 60 pages, and I'll put it in D. It's about this soldier, and he gets up to some wacky hijinks as well. But the main climax of it, skip a few seconds if you don't want to hear, but he ends up eating a baby. He eats a baby in it. And that's kind of the main thing about it, that people are like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. My English teacher told me to read that one, so I gave it a read, and it was not my favorite. Next up, we got No Country for Old Men. I think that's what it's called, if I'm remembering correctly. It's about some money. It's really good. It's a very good book. I would even say it's deep, even. It's it's just really philosophical type shit. It really will make you think about the world type shit. When you read it, you know what I mean? Okay, so next up we got Snow Falling on Cedars. This one is David Guterson. Basically, it's about like a mystery. It's okay. It's a historical fiction about like World War II, like Japanese people living in the Pacific Northwest, and it kind of harkens back to my old Pacific Northwest days. But other than that, there wasn't very much about it that I liked, so I'm putting it in D. So I wouldn't really recommend it to you. It's really drawn out, and it just has a lot of like stupid like anecdotes about the characters that are not necessary at all to the story. Next up, we got UTC, Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Now, a lot of people like to say that this book is bad. They say it's outdated. They say it's potentially racist because it says the N-word quite a lot. And it's about slavery. And it was written by a white woman. Harriet Beecher lived on the... she lived in like Cincinnati, Ohio, so she was like right above the border, Kentucky to Ohio. So she like came into contact with a lot of slaves, and she would talk to them, and she wrote this book, which was pretty much a collection of stories that she had. Like it was like a culmination of different anecdotes and biographies that she had gotten from these real slaves, and she made up this story to kind of depict what black people were living through at the time. Very important book. I'm pretty sure Frederick Douglass or Abraham Lincoln said the book was goated. One of them didn't like it though. Anyways, it was very influential, and it caused a lot of people to kind of be like, yo, this slavery thing is like kind of bad though. Like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't do it. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in B just because it was like really historically important. The Ruins by Scott Smith. It's a horror book. It's really just like fun to read. Like from start to finish, the book is just like it's just really had me by my throat. By my throat, it was just gripping me type shit. I couldn't put it down. But yeah, check it out. It's very good. It's about some people that go to Mexico, and they're like trying to like explore and shit, and like some bad stuff happens to them. A tier. Otesha Mosh View coming up again from Eileen. We got My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Now this is a story about probably the most insufferable person you'll ever meet. And it's really good. She lives in New York, and she works at this like art thingy, this like art studio or like art gallery. I think it's a gallery. She's like a curator or like a reception. She's some kind of desk job, and she's like, bro, this life shit, fuck it, bro, fuck it. So she like gets this kooky psychiatrist, and she decides to take a year of rest and relaxation. And you'll have to read the book to know what that means. I'm putting it at the top of it, right below Cormac, just cause like, it's a very accurate like description of depression, and like what it's like to go through it, and how when you're depressed, you're just like, I don't like you, I don't like anybody, I don't want to be around anybody, I hate everybody, everybody's below me, type thing. But you also like hate yourself. It's kind of like that type shit. Grapes of Wrath. Also, the book is super funny. It's very funny. But Grapes of Wrath. Now this book, I was forced to read it at gunpoint by my English teacher. And I hated it every second of it. I only read half of it technically, but I watched the last half in like the movie. So it just like, it's a slog of a book. And yes, I know it's like historically important because it was John Steinbeck's kind of like journalistic rendering of the Dust Bowl, but I don't care at all. I didn't like reading it, so I'm putting it in F tier just because, you know what, I'm going to put it in G tier just because I did not like it at all. It's like the only book that I just did not mess with at all on this list. That's a lie, by the way. There's other books that I did not mess with. Next up, Out of the Dust. This is another Dust Bowl book that we had to read for my English class, and I didn't like it. I shouldn't have even like put it in my read list because I barely even like read it. To be honest, I fudged my way through the whole book and I read it in like a day. I'm putting it down in with the Grapes of Wrath as well. And it's just about this like dumb girl, and she's like, oh, I like piano. It's stupid. The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. It's goated. It's a goated book. It's kind of like Siddhartha, but it takes place in the Middle East. It's like a spiritual book, and you'd think reading it that the author would be like Islamic or something, but no, bro is like Catholic. I'm pretty sure. It's pretty cool. It's like a very like mystical, fun book to read. I read it really fast. It's just nice. It's a nice read. A tier. Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't really care. But this is like a classic. It's a classic book for like dudes that look like me, that like wear chains and have pierced ears and make YouTube videos in their mom's basement type shit. But I would definitely recommend it to like pretty much everybody. It's really good. It's about this dude that like he like goes full like schizo mode. It's like fire. It's just classic. It's a classic pop culture book. There's so many references to it. Like, it's super good. Definitely would recommend it. But like reading it, I'm gonna have to reread it, and like I'll probably do a different ranking, but I'm gonna have to put it in like the top of B tier just because like it was very hard to follow, and like that's probably like intentional, but it's still like it's a very confusing book because the unreliable narrator just kind of gets, he like goes kooky type vibes. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. It's really like just a book that you'll have to read for your English class if you ever take public high school or even homeschool. Your mom will probably make you read it, or your dad, or your parent. I don't fucking know. But Lord of the Flies, goated book, classic book. Hey, did you know that it's actually it's an allegory for the war? Did you know that? If you ever have to write a paper on this, just text me and I'll tell you what to write about. I'm gonna put it in C tier just because it's like, everybody has to read it, and it's like not really that incredible. I don't understand why it's like taught so much. Well, I get why it's taught so much because it's like short and that you can teach about allegory and stuff, but it's like it's not that good in my opinion. It doesn't really have that much to say as far as like a deeper meaning goes, like most books that they teach in school do. So I don't know. McGlue by Otessa Moshview. Can you tell that I like her? That I like her books? Yeah. My girlfriend got this for me for Christmas, and I liked it a lot. It was a quick read. It's only like 90 pages. It's just a novella, but I would recommend it to people. It's about this like drunken sailor. It's like super cool, like pirate vibes, but it's like sad also. And I have this like theory about the main character that I won't say because it's like low-key a spoiler, but bro's gay for sure. For sure he's gay. No cap. I'm putting it in C just because it's like nothing too crazy, but it's like also good. I'm gonna even put it above Lord of the Flies. They should teach this shit in school. Yes, it says the N-word. Otessa, go off. She's like a white lady, but like fuck it. And like Uncle Tom's Cabin like can say the N-word because it's like an old ass book, but like this one, Otessa was playing with fire. She was playing with fire. Anyways, rant over. Next up, we're gonna talk about probably one of my favorite book of all time, The Hobbit. This is my third time reading The Hobbit. I read it this year, and I was gonna try to read all of the Middle Earth series, like I was gonna start with The Hobbit, and then read The Lord of the Rings in order, and then read like the Silmarillion and like random other Tolkien books. But that was gonna be like my summer reading project, but I got bored of The Fellowship of the Ring like 200 pages in. Put the book down, didn't read all summer, and like I haven't really read much since. I've read Frankenstein, Jekyll, and like I've read these books. These are the books that I've read this year, like this school year. But The Hobbit, S tier easily. It's like the most comforting book ever made. I'll read this in the springtime. It's a very good book. It pairs good with like tea. If you're like a tea drinker, you could read this and like feel super smart and like good about yourself. I'd recommend it to literally like any person. And the reason that I like this book so much and why it like speaks to me, you could say, is because my dad used to read it to me when I was like a little kid. He'd like read it to me when I was falling asleep. And that's why I'm like low-key literate to this day. Like I do good in like English and stuff because of this book, because my dad would read this to me at like age 4. Fire. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a classic book. This is one of my favorite books that I read for my English class. My great literature class. It's like great novels pretty much. I'll have to, I don't know. A tier is kind of getting like messed up because like there's so many like good books, but they're not like S tier. They're not like my favorite books of all time. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I don't care, but like I don't know. I just read a lot of good books that are like not the best. They're not like Hobbit tier. I don't think anything else on this list. Well, maybe something else. We'll see. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Very good. It's like super, super hard to read though, because it's just a really old ass book from like the 1700s maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure about it, but I would recommend it to people if they're like trying to major in English or like really want to like read a hard book. And it's about this like. Wait, I didn't even explain what The Hobbit or To Kill a Mockingbird is about. The Hobbit, you know what it's about. It's like a little fucking dude that goes on a journey. And then To Kill a Mockingbird is about like this little girl and her like bro, and there's like a black dude that like gets in trouble, and they're like, no, he didn't do anything wrong. And the community is like, yes, he did. I don't care. And they're like, no, bro, please don't get him. And I don't remember if they get him or not. I'm not going to lie. I don't remember how it ends. The Scarlet Letter, though, is about this, like, Puritan lady. And she gets freaky with somebody. And, she gets in trouble. It's pretty good. I'm putting it in B tier just because, like, it's a classic book. It's classic. You should read it if you're interested in literature or like Puritan society in general, because it's a really good depiction of it. And Nathaniel Hawthorne has a lot of good stuff on that, because his great grandfather or something was he was one of the like magistrates in the Salem witch trials, and he was like a bad boy. He was a bad boy, and Nathaniel Hawthorne was like, I don't really like. We don't stand my great grandpa. We don't like him, so he changed his like the spelling of his name so he wouldn't like be associated, but everybody knew. Anyways, 1984 by George Orwell. It's a classic book. It's like one of the best. It's like the dystopian book ever. The dystopian book of all time. Easily S tier. Like it's not really like a debatable thing, even. This book made me question. It did not make me question society. I can't believe I'm about to say that, because that's stupid. No book has ever made me care about anything. But 1984 is a classic, and it's really fun to read. Like, it's genuinely like It grips you, and it is just super, super good. So I'd recommend it to everybody. Everybody should read 1984. It's goated. Frankenstein is a book about a scientist, and he like creates this monster, and he's like, oh no, the monster is bad. And then the monster is like, oh no, I'm bad. And then the monster's like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna be bad since you say I'm bad. And then he like kills people. I'm putting it in D just because it's like, it's a sad book. And it's like, yeah, it's a classic. It's like gothic horror classic. Oh my gosh. I don't care. Okay? It doesn't matter to me. Dr. Jekyll, great book, honestly. I think it's a metaphor. I think it's actually a metaphor for addiction and having two sides to your personality, and you don't want somebody to know the other side. My dog's going crazy. I'm just gonna keep talking. Oh, my dad is Anyways, it's a good book. I'm gonna put it in C just because it's like not my favorite, but I enjoyed my reading of it. Into Thin Air by John Krakauer is a pretty goated book. It's freaking good. It's a great work of journalism, and it's crazy that he was on Mount Everest during this disaster, being this extremely talented journalist and writer, and it's just really good. So I'm gonna put it in the top of B tier just because it's like great. It's a great book, and I think you should read it if you like nonfiction stuff. But it can be a little dense at times. He goes into detail, and he does this thing where he switches the names around like crazy. And that can be really, really annoying. Next up, I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. Super good. It's about the Golden State Killer. It's the only real true crime book that I read this year. And I really enjoyed my reading. This is the second time that I've read it. And I listened to the audiobook, and it was just super good. It was really thoroughly researched, and it just drove me crazy how close Michelle came to like literally cracking the case. Like, she has clues and like things that he said that were used against him. Like, it was like, it's crazy. It's crazy. You need to read this book, and you need to, after you read it, you need to look into Joseph James D'Angelo, the actual Golden State Killer, who they caught using DNA research. Me too! Haunting of Hill House. Now, this is the most recent book that I read, and it was one of the books that I liked the least because it is written in one of the most annoying tones I've ever like read in a book, and the characters are just so frustrating and unlikable, and I just hated them. And since it's a horror book, I was hoping that the characters were going to be killed in some way, and they were going to die brutally. Hopefully. I was hoping it was going to be a brutal, gross book, and it wasn't. It was the most anticlimactic. The ending is so anticlimactic that I'm going to spoil it. The main character, the house, kind of infests her mind, and she's like, oh no, everybody's turning against me, oh no. And then she like goes crazy one night, and they're like, okay, you need to leave the house, brother. Because they're all like in this house for the science experiment about the ghosts that live there. And then she's like, okay, whatever, bro, I'll leave. She gets in her car, and she runs her car into a tree on purpose. And it's like all this build up and all this like me just being like, something bad should happen to these characters because they're so annoying, they're so fake, they're just so like pompous and arrogant, and just it is infuriating to read. I'm putting it in F tier. It's not as bad as Grapes of Wrath because at least it was interesting to read, but I still did not like it, and I would not recommend it to anybody. These, I would not recommend these. I would not really generally recommend these to I would recommend these to some people. I'd recommend these to a lot of people. I'd recommend these to most people, and I will say you have to read these books because they are absolutely the best. So enjoy your 2024. I hope everybody reads at least one book this year because reading is really fun. It's a good way to relax, get off your phone. And I am sorry if you subscribe to me because of the Joey video. I will probably not make any more videos like that because I don't really care about that style. Like, it's not like my thing, okay? So you have to understand that. I'm not, like, I love music and I love underground hip hop, and I'll probably make other videos about that topic, but it's just that the format of going from one artist to another on Spotify, I'm not just going to keep doing that because that's going to get old. People are going to get tired of seeing it, and I'm going to get tired of doing it. So, I hope everybody enjoys. If you watch this video because you subscribe for that, you're an absolute goat, and I love you. Like, shout out to you. I doubt that's going to be anybody. But also, like, if you watch till the end and you haven't seen my other stuff, check them out because I make, like, videos about... I make, like, these weird, like, skits in Gmod, pretty much. And I think it's pretty funny. My friends have, like, told me that it's cool. But, yeah. Everybody have a good day. And, yeah. Peace out.